So then you've already given the big problem of Antarctica. So
Yeah.
this is so basically there's numerous problems. So this would be if we say the sun is here,
Yeah.
which is the southern hemisphere summer. For people who are listening on the audio, I apologize about this, but
Yeah.
head to YouTube or head to Facebook to have a look what we're talking about.
Yep.
Now, in this situation, the person here was talking about the bottom of South America. We don't have to do that because I live up here in the bottom of New Zealand. The
Yeah.
bottom of New Zealand here is actually a straight line on this map to Alaska. Bottom of New Zealand, where I live, the sun goes down at 10 p.m. It's still light sometimes at 11 p.m. in the longest day.
Mhm.
Yet, direct line of sight, according to this map to Alaska, it's
Yeah.
dark 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be able to work unless, for example, oh gosh, now what am I going to do here? Go backwards, yeah, backwards. The sun was to do this. And that doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever as to how light performs. Because
Mhm.
that would allow Alaska to stay darkness and me here in New Zealand to have summer sun.
Good point.
How does that work?
No idea. None. I mean, seriously, I don't. For me, it doesn't bother me that much though, because I still believe in some aspects that the sun may be instanced. We may be looking at something digital. I think that the sun, we could be looking at something where it's instanced geographically.
So a literal stage soundstage that's got
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Very possible. Very possible. I'm not going to dismiss that at all. I mean, come on. I came from a programming background, and from a software background. I'm not going to ignore that. I mean, The Matrix isn't one of my favorite movies of all time,
and
but I know what we were trying to do, and I know what we do in our simulations when we build them. So,
and to follow up on the thing you were talking about with Antarctica,
yeah,
therefore you would concede because you've kind of already said it. So this is Antarctica would be what we call Antarctica, the flat earthers call the ice wall around the outside of the planet. For at least 2 months of the year,
yeah,
Antarctica is in 24-hour sunlight. Now
right,
that's indisputable because it's not a NASA secret. Tens of thousands of people go to Antarctica every year as tourists. They've
yeah,
seen it.
yeah,
I know people who have worked at Scott Base. They've seen it. It's indisputable that
mm,
Antarctica has 24 hours sun, well, light,
sure,
for months of the time. If Antarctica is the ice wall around the outside edge here,
right,
and it's in 24 hours of sunlight,
yeah.
then by definition, with a sun, the whole globe has to be in 24 hours sunlight.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, you could do it with multiple light sources. You don't need to have,
Well,
but that's a good point you brought up, which was, doesn't the entire world have to be in 24-hour sunlight? One of the drawbacks of drawing our models, unfortunately, when you see the sun and the moon above it, is
yep.
in order to even make them visible, we have to draw them so huge that it's not to scale at all. So like, you'd have to draw the sun and the moon, if they're both the same size approximately, somewhat along the lines of 1,000 miles wide, where in our models they're like 50 miles wide, which would be in some cases smaller than a pixel. I
Mm.
mean, you couldn't even see them on the map. So yeah, Antarctica, look, don't know what's happening out there, but I don't worry about it too much because the Antarctic treaty's got it locked down and nobody can set up shop there except for military and military scientists and a few tourists from
But
time to
you
time.
ignore it. Okay, so
Oh
then
yeah, but I acknowledge it. Sure.
that's a because I hear you talking about multiple light sources. You're the first person that I've heard talk about this, and I'm in the rabbit hole. So therefore, what I'm hearing again is the outcome doesn't match the formula, so we're going to change the formula. The outcome shows the model of a sun and a moon inside the firmament, the
Right.
dome.
Right.
And if that is the case, which seems to be the flat Earth model,
Right.
then what I've just said is true. One source has to light all of the Antarctica, which in turn will light
Or there's multiple light sources. Yes.
so that's the other option, which is now what it feels like rather than going, now my outcome doesn't match my supposition, so I need to.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, look, I try to be as, again, from a design standpoint, I try to be as realistic as possible or as practical as possible.